Hi traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Okay, so we're going to start with our morning analysis. Hey, Shabazz wrote in. Good afternoon from London. Hey Blake, listen to your interview at Chat with Traders. Interesting. Hey, glad to have you here. You know, if this is your first time to the Morning Edge webinar, it is 4:33 a.m. where I sit. That means I've been up for a lot longer than that, and we do this every day at the same time. Same bad channel for 13, 14 years. Glad to have you here, and have about 2,000 traders that listen in to this broadcast throughout the course of the day. Not just for me. I mean, I've got just 3.5 hours a day, but there's have a good group of analysts that come on throughout the course of the day that share thoughts and ideas. So glad you can be a part of it. All right, so welcome. Yeah, I'm not super lively at 4:30 in the morning. Sometimes I can get it, but I'm tired. I watched the debates last night too. I didn't even watch any football, and I watched after the post debate. I watched. I made my wife go to Fox News too. We watched CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. I think what's really interesting, and I think and I'm gonna leave it at this after I say this. I think what's safe to say is when you looked at the poise of the two candidates, you can clearly tell who was rattled. And I thought it was going to be the other way around, frankly. I really did. And, the market's responding appropriately or accordingly. One of the reasons why I also just want to mention this, people were like, well, why aren't stocks up more? If Hillary Clinton was a true winner last night, why isn't the stock market up much more? I really don't think that what we saw last night is going to change the outlook of any voters. I think the independents are still going to be the ones that are undecided are still going to be on the fence, and I think that the ones who are Trump supporters are still Trump supporters, and the ones that are Clinton supporters are still Clinton supporters. I personally am waiting to go through all the debates before I make my decision, and I think anybody who's on neither side of the aisle or either side of the aisle at this point in time really has grounds doesn't have enough information to make a decision yet. So I think that's why there's not like this huge response that a lot of that like a big rally in equities. I think the market just kind of subside, just kind of is wait and see mode. And I think a lot of voters are in wait and see mode too. All right, enough about that. Let's go into the euro dollar. So the euro, as you can see here, we're pushed up against some resistance, and we clearly know where our resistance is. When you're talking about the euro dollar. So this is the 786 retracement that stalled us here, in the euro. So and you can see there's a lot of horizontal resistance that goes through here as well. So if you're trading the euro on the short side, you can probably trade it on the short side against 112.80. Okay, but I would strongly caution you. If you get closer to 112, all right, 112 is going to be support down here, or this 111.90. So we're still in a range. We're building a bearish wedge. A bearish wedge is defined by lower highs and constant lows or consistent lows. All right, so I think we're building a bearish wedge, but we have a pretty wide range that we're dealing with too. You're dealing with 112.20, 111.20 to 112.80. So you got about 150, 160 pip range in here. We just happen to be towards the upper end of our range. So if you want from a risk reward perspective, The short euro dollar right now, the short euro dollar right now is the way to go from a risk reward perspective. You just short the euro and put your stops above 112.80, target 112 or maybe 111.20. Once we get down towards a 111.20, then you start thinking the other direction. You start thinking, okay, well, I'll get long, put my stops below 111, and I'll look back for 112.50. So I think that while you're in here, you just short up here and then get long down here, and you play inside of this. You play inside of this range as we're developing it. No sense to get fancy dancy. There are no reason to get fancy dancy. No reason to really make it tougher than it is. We're clearly in a range. All right, let's go into the cable. So the cable yesterday, we held the 129 level really well. This trend line support is obviously strong. We did create a hammer yesterday. You can see that hammer bottom on the daily candle. Let's just pull it up here. We created a hammer. We were unable to take out 130. So 130 right now seems to be the, obviously the obvious resistance, and then 129 is obvious support. So you can just 129.10. So I think if you just if you're going to trade the pound, which by the way I'm not trading the cable at the moment, but if you're just going to trade the pound, just wait for a break above 130 or a break below 129.10, and then I think you can obviously a break below 129.10, that's going to open up a door for 128. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? And then a break above 130, then you're looking at 131. And well, you can guess all you want, and we are in a bearish trend, by the way. Again, we are in a bearish trend while we're below 135, plain and simple. No if and or buts about that. While we're consolidating at 30 some odd year lows, we're in a bearish trend. But I don't think there's any reason to overcomplicate things here. You can make the assumption that which direction the pound's going to break. That's fine. You can trade long and say, oh, we ain't going lower than this. We're going back to 132.50. Fine. Then get long. Put your stops below here. If you're in the other, on the other side of the aisle, and you say, well, Brexit hasn't even happened. Wait till Brexit takes hold. Pound's going to hell in a handbasket. We're going to 125 pretty quickly. Well, fine. Get short the cable. Put your stops above 130 and be done with it. Like for me, I don't see any edge being long or short the cable right now. I don't see any real, other than we're on some, longer term support here, but I really don't see any edge in trading the pound right now. Again, just wait for it to break versus assuming which way it's going to break. Because what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me, right? Ha! Those are the jokes that get told at 4:41 a.m. Pacific time zone. So deal with it. Okay. Let's go over to the Swissy. So the Swissy, hasn't really moved a whole lot, but we're holding the 618 retracement here. We're holding this horizontal support. You can see the long wicks that we leave down here. That just signals to us that this 96.50 is support. Okay, so we're having a real tough time dipping below that 96.50. Okay, but I'm going to give you the buts. Okay, but we can't get a rally going either in the Swissy. I mean, we are in the apex of this triangle. You notice how we're developing lower highs, higher lows, and by the way, I got to say this while I'm here. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the people that I follow, a lot of people I read about, are now starting to get very bearish to the dollar. Okay, I'm seeing an overwhelming bearish dollar overwhelming bearish dollar sentiment with the traders and analysts that I follow. Okay. Usually when I start to feel that way, that means that we're probably going to go higher in the dollar. Everybody seems pretty bearish right now. I'm just throwing that out there. I even shorted some U.S. dollar Mexican peso this morning. So there. But I'm sensing a overwhelming bearishness in the dollar right now, which usually when I sense that, it means that everybody's going to be wrong. But that doesn't mean you got to look for evidence of it. But I'm just saying, based on my experience here. So here's Swissy. Okay, kind of what we're seeing right now. We have to take out 97.50 to get any type of bullish activity going on here, but we are in a range between 96.50 and 97.50. Okay, nothing really to do here. Okay. I'm tired. Barnstormer Eric in Texas said I lost my spunk this morning. I'm going to tell you, Eric, I can pretty much tell you I haven't lost any spunk this morning. No spunk lost here. I know spunk means something different in the UK, but it's funny because it's a nice inside joke from. Nope, I've got all my spunk. No spunk lost. It's too early in the morning. Oh, God. All right, let's continue on. And the conversation goes south really fast. All right, let's see. Here is the dollar yen. So the dollar yen is still respecting the 100 yen level. Now, dollar yen, getting a little nervous about the dollar yen. If there's something that can usher in some dollar weakness, it's a breakdown in the dollar yen. We see a breakdown in the dollar yen, and all of a sudden you're gonna see the wheels fall off the bus in the dollar. I would think. So 100 yen is still really important. I mean, obviously I drew this trend line really thick because I think it's so important. The lows all come in just above 100. I'm gonna write 100 down because you have to imagine that we can be on both sides of that 100 by 10 pips, and it's going to be important. All right. Now 101 is resistance. We're going to take the downside pressure off the dollar yen. We have to take out this 101. All right, 101.10 actually. 101.20. Take that back. 101.20. We are still in a very bearish trend. While we are below this trend line right here, it is a very bearish channel that we're in. Okay. So above 101.20, we'll start to see some bullish activity. Below 100, and we're going to probably see 98, if not 95, shortly thereafter. Okay. Let's go over to the dollar Canadian. All right, so here's the dollar Canadian. Now the dollar Canadian is being affected by crude at the moment. Also the political environment. I'm surprised, frankly, that the dollar Canadian hasn't pulled back further. If you're bullish the Canadian dollar, meaning you're expecting the dollar Canadian to move lower, you're probably looking at this chart going, wow. See, I looked at it last night. I'm like, okay, that was clearly a false breakout. Clearly, last night. When I got up this morning, I was really surprised to see the dollar Canadian back up as much as it is. Now, in order for the dollar Canadian to really get moving, we do have to take out the overnight highs or the Asian highs, which were at 132.75. Okay, so I'll write that down. 132. 32.75. Support is just the overnight lows. You want to create some bearish activity here. Well, then you got to start making lower lows, because right now we're making higher lows. All right, so you can see that. So we actually have to take out the overnight lows to get this thing to roll over. And until we do that, we're at risk of breaking higher. Okay, we're at risk of breaking towards 135 if we don't start taking out lows soon. Plain and simple, right? So the overnight lows is 131.63, so I'm going to write down 131.60. We are in a range. We're threatening to go bullish, though. We're in a range. All right, excuse me 1 second. All right. Sorry, just getting comfortable here. All right, let's go take a look at the Kiwi. Nick is asking about the peso. We'll talk about the peso in a little bit. We'll get there in about the next 15 minutes. All right, so here's the Kiwi. So the Kiwi came back, challenged the underside of this trend line. We got a pretty long wick here. So we left some buyers. This looks like this was a total short squeeze, and left a lot of people covering up some shorts above 73 cents. Then we, obviously rejected, and we're coming right back down again. Let's remove this for now. Okay. Let me try something else. I'll come back to that. So see, this is a 38% retracement. And so even though we've taken out the 618, we're really, around the 618. So 73.25 is now going to be very key. If you're a bull in the Kiwi, you really want to see that broken. If you're a bear in the Kiwi, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that taken out. Okay, you don't. So 73, basically 73. I'm going to write down 73.25. That is now key resistance moving forward. Well, through today anyway. All right, now support. Okay, support. I'm going to write down 72.80 as being support, and then below 72.80 it starts to open up the downside again. So we're close to it. All right, and we're still bearish. I mean, I know it's been a tough road being bearish, but while we're below this trend line, we're still bearish. There's just a lot of back testing right now. Okay, when I come back, we'll do the Aussie. We're going to talk a lot about the peso. The dollar index is near channel support, all sorts of stuff. So I'll be back in a few moments. Don't go anywhere. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. We're going to continue on with our analysis, and let's get over to, by the way, the euro is just hitting new lows. The euro pound's actually getting, I covered my euro pound yesterday, by the way. I covered it at 70 yesterday, somewhere down here, and yeah, we just got slammed. I mean, hit pretty hard here. You can see the euro pound just took a nice little beating for no known reason. Looks like the euro just got hit across the board, actually. I mean, if you look everything from, here's the euro Aussie, euro Canadian, euro Swiss, slumped below 109, euro pound, euro yen, euro New Zealand came off, and then obviously the euro dollar. So, yeah, euro's under some pressure this morning. All right, let's go take a look at the Aussie. Let's finish up these majors. So here's the Aussie. Now the Aussie, just so you guys know, the Aussies. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I just wanted to just interject real quick since you mentioned the euro. As I said earlier, and I was mentioning it yesterday, I believe it's the Deutsche Bank story that's waiting on the euro, and it's hitting it across the board. And we're seeing bonds at the highs now, just like I told you. Is I pulled my order. There are some nice confluence at 170 on the bonds, but until this Deutsche Bank story gets past us, I think the euro is going to be under some tough sledding, and I would not be shorting the bonds until we get, because we may just see some safety hit, and the 10-year boons hit new record lows, and it's all got to be related to the Deutsche Bank as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, just so I'd give you that.
Look at the buns are.
Yeah, the boons.
I say buns. I like buns.
Yeah, they call it boons.
I like buns.
You pronounce it like Daniel Boone, like Boone.
No, I like buns.
So I know you like buns.
Yeah.
I like buns too.
You may like Boonesberry Farm or whatever, but I like buns.
Anyway,
but
bonds on the highs. I'm telling people, be careful. I've been mentioning about this Deutsche Bank story's already been like almost 2 weeks old now, but it's gaining some steam. And I forgot which German guy yesterday was talking about, they should help to the country or whatever should help to bail out banks. So that's where they may be heading, because they've got the problem is that the people who took the other side of the trades, I mean, they've got so many derivative woes, this thing could really spiral out. So like I said, any rallies on the SPOOs, I'd be looking to be very careful. And then you get a good rally, the market starts to lose some steam, then you could go long the yen. And I'm not bashing the dollar yen. I'm just saying I'd go long the euro, go long euro yen or whatever. Go long yen versus the euro, or yen versus the Canadian dollar, or yen versus the planet Pluto or whatever. Just be careful, because I think this Deutsche Bank story could quickly unravel. I don't think it's going to be like major catastrophic thing, but I think it could send the SPOOs down a good 50, 65 handles, and that'll send the euro like a skyrocket, not the euro, but the yen like a skyrocket, blasting through the lows and taking us down to about 98. But anyway, I just thought I'd reinforce to let you know that, hey, I think it's all Deutsche Bank related. And despite, here's the thing, the ZBs on the highs, that actually pushed the euro to its highs yesterday, which, because obviously lower yields, weaker for the dollar. Where's gold? What the heck's going on with gold? It's at 1339. Once again, gold responded very well to the get out of jail card provided by the FOMC. And when bonds took off, gold took off. Now I've noticed, like I told people for the last couple of days, gold just isn't responding when bonds go to newer highs. So something's going on here. But I told you what, I pulled my short on my short order for the bonds, but I will look to short them around 170. There's some nice confluence. 69.30 is 78%, 64.12 to 71.16, and 70.05 is up 50% of the recent low 64.12 to the all-time high that we've had at 75.28. So I'm going to wait a point higher because of this Deutsche Bank story, but I think it's going to continue to weigh on the euro. But that's all I got.
All right, thanks, Paul. Yeah, and James wrote in. He said Deutsche Bank subordinate credit default swaps rise to record. So yeah, that's definitely what's weighing on the euro at the moment, and it's hitting across the board. So thank you, Paul. All right, we're going to finish up our analysis. Let's get through this really quick. So here's the Aussie rallying right to resistance, 77 cents. Obviously we're up at some really key resistance. This is a major trend line. It's hard to see the Aussie break through the 70-cent level, so just keep that in mind as we move into today. That's going to be some very, very key resistance. Spiked right into it overnight. We are in range. We're at the upper end of our range. One of the things that was pointed out by some of the guys in our chat room a little earlier is this shooting star here on the 4-hour. Nice false breakout. So I think that a move back below 76.50 would warrant some bearish activity out of the Aussie. Now I'm going to write down 76 cents and 76.50, both of them. 0.7650. Okay, is support. Let's go take a look at the dollar index. Here's the dollar index. As you can see, the dollar index finding support at channel support. I mean, we're right at channel support. We're still 95, 95.65. Nothing's changed. 95, 95.65. And this is our range. Take a look at the peso. Now, what's really interesting about the peso is even as the market's a little risk averse from the highs, the peso is still trading really heavy. Now, Nick asked, was this a false breakdown over here? I don't think so. I think this is basically the double top neckline. So you have obviously the 1990 resistance, support, and maybe a slight false breakdown below 1944 because we went as low as 1943. But remember, 1944, if you don't recall, the high here, oh, this is 1951. There was another 1944. Oh, it's over here. There it is. 19, let me pull it up. I got to go all the way back out to, let's go out to the daily chart. Okay, so that high for that day was 1944. The low for today was 1943.30. So that reinforces how important 1944 is. All right, that reinforces it. 1944, major support. If that breaks, then we have a double top in play, just so you all know. All right, now resistance. I think anybody who's long will be so happy if we make if we run for 1973. Okay, I think that's going to be an awesome place to be on the short side. Now I'm already short a little bit of peso, U.S. dollar, Mexican peso. I will sell more if given the opportunity, especially up here. So 1973. It's bullish. Back below 1944 puts us back in the range. All right. Let's take a look at the Swedish krona and the Norwegian krona. So here's the Norwegian krona. We just keep probing these lows and we can't break. I mean, and we keep probing them. So, I mean, I'll write down the low at basically 807. Resistance is at 815 still. Okay. We are turning bearish, sorry. In the Norwegian krona. We are. Below 108 really, or 8.00 really puts the bears in charge. Here's the US dollar Swedish krona. Man, this thing is not backing off either. This is one of those you got to watch really carefully. I know we're in this wedge here. So let's just pull this up. Here, the daily chart so you can see it. I mean, how is the US dollar Swedish krona not breaking down yet? I mean, if you guys are so bearish the dollar, this should be breaking down. It's not. God, the euro looks like crap. I mean, really. I mean, you look at the euro, it looks like hell. Okay. I mean, you look at the Swedish krona. I mean, this breaks 862, and we're going to start squeezing. So support by the time we get here is 849, 8.4900, and what was the 862? Is that what it was? 862, 8.62. We're in a range. All right, so your bias chart's done, and it's finished. Man, this euro looks like crap, guys. I mean, Swedish krona new highs, euro is at new lows. Yeah, if we break below this 111.90, I mean, the euro is just going to come reeling lower. New lows in the euro. Okay. Let's take some of your questions.